Denied coverage of your GLP-1? Do not quit. That is exactly what insurance wants you to do. You have rights and you can appeal more than once. Claimable makes it simple with expert-backed appeals that actually have been proven to work. Check out the link getclaimable.com/plus sides and use code plus sides with a Z to save.
Hey, that's how we do it. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Brandi to tell her community story.
Yay. And may
Hey,
we
Brandi.
also, I want to give a special shout out for the pumpkin spice latte hair color.
Oh my
It's
God, the hair. But no, what are
I
you calling it
know.
again? Cowboy. What is
She
it
call it
called,
cowboy
Brandi?
Yeah.
copper,
What
something
is
like that.
it?
Cowboy copper.
Cowboy.
Cowboy copper. That's
Not gonna
it.
lie, I'd really next event, I'm gonna need to do my hair just like that on accident,
Okay.
just like that. It's so
we
good.
can hold up in a hotel room. Your hair is light enough that I'll just be able to do just a
It's
deposit on later.
only light in the front.
Oh, but it's
These
still
are
light.
that's my
Clean.
pop. Stop. Anyway, kidding. Hey, we're so glad to have you here.
I'm glad to
So
be here.
something that I know you know, but something we like to do here that's important is when we started the show, I self, the girls, many people in the community were very much tired of people taking our stories and testimonials of these life-changing experiences and diminishing them by giving them 30 seconds on television, and blocking out our tummies and just things to fit their agenda, and it was hurtful, not to mention calling us all the things in the land, including cheaters and all that stuff. And I just got sick of it. So, we started this. And so it's important for our guests to be able to tell their story unfiltered and uncut and newly added uninterrupted. So when I'm going to ask you when you're done before I interrupt you. I'm trying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Kat's fault too. It's me and Kat. We're the ones that do it.
We
Yeah.
get excited.
We get really excited.
I just have the facial expressions.
Yeah. She just waits for it's a Virgo's watch, right?
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
sort of like watch and she waits to see what's gonna happen before she like jumps in, Anyway. It's not Virgo season anymore. It's Libra season. That's right.
Ooh.
But when this airs, it's gonna be Scorpio season.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's me.
That's right. I love it.
Right now, it's
All
big
right
Libra
together.
energy.
Oh,
What about you,
God.
Brandi? What are you? You Scorpio?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. I turned
Yay!
45 on November 7th.
Oh, 44 November 20th. Got you. See, I knew we were sisters from another mister. That's why a year apart, clearly.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Brandi, how you doing? Brandi's my
I'm
friend.
good.
So we would love for you to be able to take the space and tell your story, unfiltered and uncut and uninterrupted.
Okay. Can I make a shameless plug for my shirt?
Always. Let's do it real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
So
Let's
this
see.
is my new shirt from Carolina with the Reverie Boutique. I love her stuff. We can be loud and proud about being
Okay.
GLP-1 baddies or PCOS baddies. Like,
Yeah.
you can check out her link and my stuff, but support her.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, says Glutide Gang.
I love it.
Thank you guys for having me on the podcast. I'm super excited to be sharing my story with everybody today. I want to be loud and proud, and I hope that whoever is watching this and listening to this maybe resonates with my story, and it will give them some courage because maybe they're afraid like I was. But anyways, I live in big, beautiful Wyoming, and in my late teens, I got married pretty early, started having some babies, and the weight just started creeping on after having babies. I started noticing that the thought of food just constantly was in my head. Wanted to sit and eat carby, sugary, chocolatey, like all of the things, right? Get up in the middle of the night, have snacks. Some traumatic events happened in my life. Ended up having a divorce, and pretty soon I'm nearly 300 pounds. And I have a binge eating disorder. I learned just recently. I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know you could have binge eating disorder and it not be a purge thing as well. So if I'm being gross, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you. And then I swear I'm going to shut up. We talk about all that here. Kat and I both have one. It's cool.
Okay.
Safe place.
Okay. Okay. So with that, I didn't know what binge eating really was. I just knew that I ate a tremendous amount of food all the time. And at one point I started looking into weight loss surgery, and of course the insurance did not cover it, but pretty soon in the future I had a job where it did. But then I started looking into it, and it was, you had to do this for 6 months, and then you had to do this for 3 months, and then you had to prove this, and I had to prove myself to someone sitting behind a computer saying, nope, I don't think she qualifies, decline, deny. And I'm like, no, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. You're not sitting inside of me, right? So I started looking at weight loss surgery in Mexico. And I was alone. I didn't have anybody. I mean, I had my kids, but I wasn't living. I was eating so much food that I was maxing out credit cards. I was using credit cards to go out and just get as much food at different locations as I possibly could. They knew me by name in most of the drive-thrus in this town. They knew what kind of sauces I wanted. They knew what kind of drinks I wanted. I could just pull up and they knew it was me by the sound of my voice. And they're like, hey, Brandi, are you going to get the number blah, 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 blah today? Yep. And please, that's how, it wasn't just a Starbucks order. It was, I'd wake up in the morning. What am I going to have for breakfast? Oh, okay. It's going to be McDonald's. And then while I'm in the McDonald's drive-thru, it'd be like, okay, do I have, what am I going to get for lunch? And it was just incessant, constantly. I was obsessed about food. And then, like I said, I was looking into surgery in Mexico. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Facebook Marketplace, but I put like a classified ad on there in my local area. And I was like, is there anybody in this town that has gone to Mexico and had weight loss surgery? It was embarrassing. It was weird, but I was like, who cares? Like, I'm already, I'm past the point of caring anymore. And I was flooded. I mean, flooded with people in my very own community that had gone to Mexico. And a lot of them had gone to the same surgeon. Pretty soon I get this private message from this woman. She's a business owner here in town. And she's like, I want to talk to you. And I thought, oh God, this woman is going to be like, don't go do that, And she's like, here's my number. Please call me. Please, please, please call me. So I call her and she's like, I need to talk to you. She's like, I just had this overwhelming urge to speak to you. I'm like, okay. And she's like, this is the doctor you need to go to. I'm almost 6 months out from him. This is how I'm doing. There's 6 of us here in town that have gone. I can still, to this day, message that doctor and he will message me back post-surgery. And I'm 4 years out. And she's like, you have to go see him. And she goes, and not to mention, he's pretty easy on the eyes. And I was like, sold, he's hot, let's do it, right? That means he's qualified. Definitely. If he's a hot doctor, I mean, sign me up. Mm-hmm. But no, her and I became friends. And that was, I believe, I can't quite remember when that was, 2018. No, 2019. I'm so sorry. And I started the process of filling out his paperwork. And one day I'm sitting at work and my cell phone rings in this really bizarre video call. I think it came from Google. And I answer it because I'm not one of those people that would be like, no, decline, don't know the number. I'm like, who calling? Who? People call people? But anyways, and it's him. And I was like, who are you? I didn't set an appointment. I didn't he was just like, hey, you filled out the application. I just wanted to call you and see if you have any questions. And I'm like, lots of questions. And he's like, well, shoot, tell me. And so we talked for about 30 minutes and he goes, you just let me know. You just let me know when you want in. I've got you. Found out I had a thyroid condition, probably part of my reasoning. Because he required me to get blood work. He required me to be healthy enough to do the surgery. I obviously was not healthy. My A1C was pre-diabetic. I had sleep apnea. I was nearly 300 pounds. I had a thyroid condition that I did not know that I had. Mind you, I had had multiple panels of blood work drawn that a thyroid panel was in there, but not one time did the doctor say. And I sent him the work, and he goes, you need medication for your thyroid. We have to get your thyroid under control before we can do the medication. So I called my doctor here in the States, and he's like, well, your thyroid's fine unless you're having symptoms. I'm like, what are symptoms? And he's like, well, you'd be really very, very tired all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all of those. And I'm fat. Like,
Like, duh.
yeah. I was just like, okay. So one thing that I did start learning, and if people don't know this is something that I always tell anybody that is of childbearing age when they are getting ready to go have weight loss surgery. You will become fertile myrtle. You can very easily get pregnant after you have lost all of this weight. So I was like, well, I'm single and I'm going to be skinny soon. So, So I went to that doctor and I was like, hey, will you still see me? Because that is also the other issue. When you go to Mexico, providers will no longer see you sometimes. They're like, you went to Mexico, you're on your own, right? And he's like, yeah, I'll still see you, but I caution you on this and I caution you on that. And I said, here's something that I need. And I'm just going to be real and honest with you because that's the story of the podcast here. I was not living. I, honest to God, was preparing myself to control, alt, delete, and exit the game of life. Like that was literally where I was at. So I told him, I said, I really don't care. This is my option to live. I'm not living. I'm eating myself to death. I'm in debt because I'm eating myself to death. I hate everything about myself. I don't even know who I am anymore. I someday want to have a relationship. I don't feel like that I can do that because I'm not ready. I want to be healthy in my mind, healthy in my body, and healthy in my heart. And so this is my first step, is healthy in my body. So I can do all of those other things. And he just looked at me and he goes, well, it sounds like you've done a lot of soul searching and a lot of research. And I'm very proud of you because not everybody does that. And I'm like, nobody's going to do anything for me. I have to do that on my own. So will you still see me? He's like, I'll absolutely still see you. And I found a primary care provider. And in August, I flew to San Diego. I was picked up. I had gastric sleeve surgery. And in 8 months, I'd lost 100 pounds. By year one, I'd lost 120 pounds. I was doing great. I was textbook gastric sleeve surgery, literally. I wasn't having any vitamin issues. My blood panels were phenomenal. Like I was thriving. And by year 2.5, I was struggling with a lot of stuff. Drinking, what they call transfer addiction, I guess, because I wasn't really binge eating yet. I was drinking because, you can do that. You can drink a lot more than you can eat. I quickly learned how I could binge eat even with restriction. It did not take me very long. So by year 3, I had gained 20 pounds. And for most people, they would think, 20 pounds is not that much. It's pretty easy to lose, just get back on the horse. 20 pounds to me was devastating. 20 pounds to me was like I had completely failed. Scrolling through TikTok, one day I come across several TikToks talking about Mounjaro and Ozempic and GLP-1 medication. And I heard for the first time the term food noise. And was like, and this woman just starts talking about it where she was incessant and she had to eat and she had to have certain foods. It wasn't always just like eating, it had to be certain foods because that certain food is what, and people talk all the time, just take it out of your house. Then you won't have the temptation. I'm going to get in my car at midnight and go find it. Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't work. Like, this brain is like, no, you have to have it. I won't sleep until I get it. Period. So that was August of last year. In 9 weeks, I lost the 20 pounds with Mounjaro, which was like very quick. I didn't get over 7.5. Um,
Wow.
so that was pretty, and then I was like, oh, okay, I lost that 20 pounds. And then I was like, oh, but I could lose more. Like, if I lost more, then I would be in not the overweight, because I was still considered overweight even at the 120 pounds that I had lost, right? Weight loss surgery. So 10 more pounds, I'll be what's considered at a healthy weight. I won't be overweight. I won't ever look at obese. So I did 10 more pounds. But with that, I also had other struggles that creeped in. Very unhealthy thought processes about my weight, very unhealthy thought processes about, I don't want to say abuse. I think abuse is a very negative, but of letting Mounjaro take over my head, right? Because if Mounjaro was in charge, Brandi wasn't, and she wouldn't make mistakes, right? Mounjaro would do it for me, and I let that happen because I wasn't thinking about food. I wasn't eating. And I think that's that unhealed portion of my brain, I guess we would say, and I don't want to speak negatively on the medication, because it is very much was a life-changing thing for me, and I'm grateful for it, and I thank God for it every single day. But I also know that I do have a disordered brain in there, and when it's scary, like it is when you have a binge eating disorder and then you have something that is taking care of it for you, you're just like, okay, it's kind of like giving it to God, but you're giving it to the GLP-1 medication. And so I had to do a lot with that. The coupon expired, and we got new insurance, and they're like, nah, girl, you can't have Mounjaro. And so I panicked, but they said, but guess what? We'll give you Ozempic. And so I was like, okay. I knew Triplet Dad had lost an insane amount of weight. And I wasn't looking to lose any more weight. I was looking to just continue to control that monster in my brain. And so I started taking Ozempic. And at first that was so scary, because the first time my stomach growled, I lost it. I was like, oh my God, this isn't going to work. My stomach just growled. And to me, that was like, the medicine isn't working. I instantaneously, because I'm kind of weird like that. But through talking with people, and they're like, girl, because you're hungry. Like, it's been 4.5 hours, and you eat this much food. You're hungry. Eat some food, sis. Eat some food. You know what to do. And that's kind of like what I had to remember. And if you go through my TikToks, when I first switched from Mounjaro to Ozempic, there was so much emotion there, because I just thought I was failing again. Because I gained 6 pounds, but I also went back to Mexico and had to lift in implants. And my boyfriend finally looks at me and goes, how much do you think them implants weigh? And I was like, good point. He's like, let me see. You know? He's like, I bet it's 6 pounds, babe. I bet it's 6 pounds. Oh, if I cannot tell you how this man has saved my life. But anyways, that one was a good one, right? I was like, yeah, it's probably 6 pounds. But I was like,
Solid 6 for sure. It's definitely
yeah.
that.
I mean, there's silicone.
It was
there's
really, really hard not to interrupt you on that one, because that was hilarious. You're so funny. It's so hard not to.
They're double D's. That, I'll tell you what, they're double D's. They got to, because I was thinking about like when I was almost 300 pounds, like you pick those things up because you had to put them in the over the shoulder boulder holder. I know. I I'm sorry. Sometimes I have no clue, no couth, but I'm just saying. You ever watch Beaches? That's where I get that over the shoulder boulder holder. But
Sure, everybody's seen Beaches. It's like
yeah,
classic
you should. If you haven't, you
period
should.
movie.
Yeah,
Period. That's what you watch.
yeah. But so I also did that for myself, So, but Ozempic is great, and so it works great for me. And my insurance, the blessing to that is I once did have a high A1C, and my insurance was like, hey, my doctor was like, we got to keep you at a healthy weight, obviously, because, and my mom is adopted. My biological father is not in my life. I don't know a ton about my medical history. And this doctor was like, yes, girl, like we need to. And so she felt comfortable saying, this is what we need to do. And they pay for it. So I'm grateful because not everybody has that. And so I had to rein myself in with the craziness of the Ozempic because it wasn't the same for me with Mounjaro. But I will tell you, Ozempic calms my brain enough, but I can still be normal and eat properly for me. I'm not saying, oh, I never eat. Like that's ridiculous. Those things are stupid. Um, and it makes me angry that people say that. I eat differently. I'm able to make better choices. I'm able to make choices that are, I guess, maybe not always what one would think is the food, but I can eat something and not be like, I need 3 cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a huge Coke. I can have a cheeseburger and I'm done. And I'm normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah, right.
But,
I don't know either.
yeah. So that's a compressed version of it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you something that I didn't know because we talked about this in the Oprah podcast.
Mhm.
I never looked at my obesity as not my fault. I always looked at it as mine because of the amount of calories that I consumed. Because I did
Sure.
sit down and I calculated how many calories in just a normal day, and it was nearly 6,000 calories without binge eating. That was just eating food. That's
Sure.
a lot. So I never looked at it as this was just me overeating. So all of my friends that have that work out constantly, and I was not. So I felt my obesity was me.
Sure.
But there still is that not everybody eats that way. So there is something wrong. It's not just that the choices that I was making, it's the insanity that was going on inside my head all of the time. The person that I was extremely consumed by food. Also, what I didn't know that I learned is a lot of this is set on by trauma. And if you knew the trauma that a lot of us have endured, but the things that really set in motion the binge eating,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Because why? Why did I start doing that? What? Because I didn't always do that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
I think we learn a lot from each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in our community.
Denied coverage of your GLP-1? Do not quit. That is exactly what insurance wants you to do. You have rights and you can appeal more than once. Claimable makes it simple with expert-backed appeals that actually have been proven to work. Check out the link getclaimable.com/plus sides and use code plus sides with a Z to save.